TOMz.
Sanibonani dumelang molweni bantu abahle baseMzansi yazi into niba wena ubona thina sobabini apha kumabona kude wakho you have made the best decision.
Yeah, yes, my face by tuning into TOMz. Khona la SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. You have guaranteed yourself nothing but the best entertainment Mzansi screens has to offer.
Injalo kanye itopic yethu ke namhlanje ifana nazo zonke itopics zalapha TOMz. Ichisawubheka ngoba icool something. It is one half on what allows any audiovisual presentation to exist. No, I'm not talking about audio.
Yazi uthini bafethu if lento ubongaqeda ukuyikhuluma manje uyizwa kahle into azama ukuyisho ngempela ukuthi today we are all about light. What do we actually see when we're looking at the world?
Injalo kanye liyazi ke le light sihle ngayo siya it allows you to ukuba ubone ubuso buhle bukamamqhinebe and says yes, he has lovely personality.
Yazi ukuthini bafethu the levels of delusion in my co-presenter is really concerning. Right doch. Yazi ukuthini ke bafethu ngiyathemba ukuthi yena la uzobe say right at the end of the show.
So ke wena dibana nami umongi as well as usiya as we shine the light on light. Simakhe sibone kuba namhlanje sabe siniphakela ntoni kwinkqubo.
Check it out.
Coming up next on TOMz, find out what light is, see how laser light works, funda ukuba wena ungasebenzisa njani light to make art, check out some awesome apps for your mobile, kwaye ke get some inspirational words of advice from iindwendwe zethu zakwinkqubo yethu yanamhlanje. Every single one of you guys will be clued up on all there is to know ngelight.
But chances are you might be the one schooling us at some point about light. Kodwa ke kwamanje sifuna ukubona ukuthi nina lapha ekhaya nazini ngelight. Azokuthini? Ake siboneni.
Ngimnandi kakhulu.
Ngicela igama.
Kwanele.
Okay, Kwanele ngifuna ukukena ne. What is light?
A light is something and have no weight.
King is speed of light.
Speed of light. Okay, I can give you an example based on bulb.
Cool.
Okay, the speed of light can be maybe okay. Speed okay, light itla khanya u fihla mo kae. Yeah, wa bona like koloi. Okay, speed light ya khona okay e khanya u fihla whole distance ya so. Yeah, just according to my understanding the speed of light.
Speed of light should manje into sheshi vele, it happens fast.
Okay.
Like wow.
Okay.
No bona like ma ungena like when you are going to your crib. Yabo ma fika first thing you open the door, you switch off the light, that's speed of light. Wow. Yenzeka fast yabo. Yeah, in seconds.
Okay, electromagnetic spectrum. I have no idea.
Electromagnetic spectrum. I'm lost.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Mzansi, you seem to know a thing or two about what light is.
Kodwa wena bongi a thing or two just simply won't do.
Oh, I see. So we want you to know every single little detail.
You need to know what it is. Inzani futhi sebenza kanjani and all those things about light will give you the edge and show Mzansi noma ilizwe jikelele ukuthi wena uyi-genius enjani.
So nina nonke bantu abakrelekrele, allow us to shine some light onto the topic yethu esinayo for nina namhlanje. Light ke radiation, electromagnetic radiation to be exact, that exists within the electromagnetic spectrum. Usually abantu consider light to be what they can see ngamahlo abo. But in terms of physics, gamma rays, X-rays, microwaves, and radio waves are also light. Light is emitted and absorbed in tiny packets known as photons, which have the properties of waves and that of particles. This is known as the wave-particle duality. Asijonga at the electromagnetic spectrum, which is classified by wavelength, uzawubona that the shorter the wavelength, the higher the frequency. Irradiation with shorter wavelengths than that in the visible light spectrum are capable of causing changes in the bonding of molecules. Wait for it. It's the acronym for light amplification by stimulated emission radiation.
Yo, that was a mouthful. Almost sounded like a tongue twister. Lasers. Lasers are truly some amazing and powerful things.
Are just mind-blowing, like
but with so much power comes 10 times the responsibility. I mean, just see for yourself the power of light.
Sisaqhubeka ngemishini yethu and namhlanje sikhuluma nge-light. We want to know how laser cutting actually works. We've touched down to the south side of Joburg sizovakashela i-laser creations. Sifuna ukuthola kabanzi ukuthi bona bayishiya kanjani into yabo. Let's get it.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Welcome to TOMz.
And welcome to Laser Creations. How are you doing?
Good. So tell me, what do you do and where are we?
Okay, basically we're in a laser cutting shop. As you can see, we've got a large variety of different products that we sell to the clients.
Okay, cool. So tell me about Laser Creations.
We can cut anything from material, leather. We can etch onto leather. We can cut. The only thing we can't really cut is metal, and the only thing that limits us to what we can do is the thickness of the material. We can etch pretty much any thickness, and etching is this type of creation that you're seeing there. Basically what that is just it's a light burn on the wood. It's a very fine and very thin substance. So we're going to be working on an extremely high speed and a very low laser intensity. Okay. So now the thicker your material becomes, the slower your speed and the more intense your laser becomes. Okay. So we work on millimeters per second. If I were to cut this is a deep etch that we do. It's a very low laser intensity and a very quick laser movement. We try and prevent burn at the back of it. Or if I'm cutting, for instance, a piece of wood, we would slow the laser head down, and we'd also increase the intensity of the laser. For the etching, we would speed up the head again, but that's another process altogether.
So tell me, how exactly does the laser cutting work?
Okay. Once the gas has been electrified, a beam of light is projected onto a mirror at the back of the machine. That mirror is at a 45-degree angle. It gets beamed onto another mirror, which is basically your side mirror, and that is also at a 45-degree angle. That light is then beamed onto another mirror, which is a 45-degree downward angle, which points the light in a downward projection. Okay. Halfway down the tube, we've got a magnifying glass. Now the magnifying glass takes that light, which is a raw beam, and it focuses it like you would if you were going into a sun with a magnifying glass and you want to burn a piece of wood with a magnifying glass. You lift it, and once you've got your sharpest dot, that is the ideal temperature for the wood to start burning. Okay. So the laser works pretty much on the same concept. So it's very important for us to get the sharpest cut. We need to have the optimum height above the specific material. Okay. In our case, we work on it's an 8mm above the surface, and as you lift the head, the laser head, which is where your magnifying glass is, you'll notice that the light gets bigger and smaller. 8mm is the perfect dot, and the smaller the dot, the sharper your cut effectively. Then we combine the speed and the intensity of the laser, and all of those calculations produce the type of stuff you're looking at here.
It is all fun and games pointing these lasers into the sky, but they actually have a very, very, very bad effect on pilots flying planes.
So guys, can play nicely, but as you go and play, we'll see you right after this break. And then we visit a cinematographer to learn about the light as an art medium. Why you can find out where visible light falls in the electromagnetic spectrum. TOMz.
Before we came, we were telling you that you should never point light into the sky. And to
you, a laser pointer might be tiny and harmless, or the further that light travels by the way that light keeps going until it hits an object, the bigger it becomes.
So when it hits the windscreen of a plane or a helicopter, your tiny laser light is big enough to flash and distract a pilot. Not safe at all.
On a positive note, you know how great artists used to paint all sorts of pigments to make a masterpiece, right?
But did you know that light can also be used as a medium to create art?
They're actually images created using light.
I mean, with 3 simple colors, red, green, and blue, and some of the most amazing images can be created. But do not take my word for it. Just
Sakuya machine and we just touched down at Media Film Service to talk about lights. So kuluma nekhakuza khona ezaziyo ukuthi kahle kahle lights idingelani ku film. You want to know cuz I want to know. Right now, let's go. We in the building and Sakuya machine yethu sikhuluma nge-light, right? So right now sizofunda kabanzi nge-cinematography. If I ask ukuthi yini what we're about to find out. So I want to put up kujani.
Shabutin fit.
Angiyaphila. So Sitshele, where are we? What are we doing here and what do you do?
Slapper Media in Marlborough, and Slapper I'm like ukuthetha nge-lights and how to use lights and what lights you can use for what situation. I'm like ukuthetha nge-cinematography.
Okay, cool. So Sitshele again, what is cinematography?
Cinematography is basically moving images. So it comes from a photography, you know, so essentially it's a photography of cinema. It's light hitting film and creating an image.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So uzositshela kabanzi nge-lights esebenzisana nayo.
Yeah. Okay, well, with lighting, you get key light, you get backlight, and you get full light, yeah?
Okay.
In a scene, what you always trying to do is you're trying to motivate light, yeah?
Okay.
So xa ushuta into ofuna uyenza, uchaza uba light yakho ivelaphi, you know?
Okay.
So if you in a house, for example, your light is most likely going to come from the sources inside the house. If except sugu, it's going to come from maybe fluorescent lights if you're in the kitchen, or it's going to come from practical lights like close and clean if you have lamps or whatever. Like that's where your light would come from.
So Ngiyabona, we have a lot of lights around us. So what's going to be happening? What are we going to be doing with the lights?
Okay, cool. So in this lights, I'm going to show you the basics.
Okay.
We'll start off with key light, full light, and a backlight.
Okay.
So a key light in a scene, it's the most dominant light in your scene.
Okay.
So in a scene where you want to light a character, you just stand here. Say we stand here. Currently you have two backlights on you. A backlight is to separate a character from the background.
Okay.
So it's obviously the light that comes from the back. There's nothing here that creates contrast because the only light that's hitting you, it's those two, right? If I decide to bring this around, you now have a backlight and a side light which can be a key light. So the main light that's lighting your face right now is that one. So that can be referred to as a key light.
Okay.
Key is main light.
Okay.
Yeah?
So mina ngifuna ukwazi ukubaluleka kwe-lights when it comes to cinematography. Because I mean, ebantwini i-lights kithi yasinceda ukuthi sibone endleleni. What is the importance of it when dealing with your work?
So light in my work, inceda with lots of different things. Inceda to amplify a narrative. Like kwi-room emnyama, if ngithatha light and ndiyibeka apha, what it's going to do on a character is that it's going to cast shadows over their eyes.
Okay.
So as like umuntu obukela i-TV or umuntu obukela ifilimu, xa umjongile lo muntu amehlo akhe awuzukwazi uwabona, right?
Yeah.
So that already tells you something about a character. So you're now in a situation whereby you can't see the character's eyes. That is mystery, right? Inceda, let's say you want to amplify a character that can't be trusted. For example, in a dark room, if you have light on one side of a character, what it does is, because it's only coming from one side, it lights one half of the face and it casts a shadow here. So lighting is essentially a big part of storytelling. So in cinematography, we're always trying to tell stories, right? And using lights, camera movement, and lenses amplifies our stories.
Visible light is said to exist between wavelengths of 420 nm and 680 nm. In the visible light spectrum, you have violet on the one end with a wavelength of 380 to 450 nm. As the wavelength increases, the colors gradually change from violet to blue, to green, to yellow, to orange, and then red. In between those colors, you will find every single imaginable color. Like when you put a straw in a glass of water, the straw seems to bend in an abnormal way, right? Well, that is the science of refraction, best described as the bending of light rays when passing through a surface between one transparent material and another. Ndiqinisekile kuba zonke izinto that are so amazing othe wazibona enkqubeni namhlanje has sparks firing off in your mind.
Your hunger for knowledge not only drives you to be the potential genius that you are, it also pushes you to try open up ingqondo yakho to all the possibilities that are out there.
Injalo kanye so ke ukulamba kwakho uzawufeel so please stay hungry.
And just to clarify something now, we are talking about your hunger for knowledge, not ukudla. So please, mangakutshela abantu ukuthi TOMz uthe uyilambise.
Isincedekazi sasibambisa siyobhandinta, but please do allow us to take this quick break. Yazi nto sawubuya uzungayi ndawo because ke wahamba zobho.
Hey wena.
Asibuya ke we go back in time ukufunda about how mankind obtained all this knowledge. Uzofumana some useful science apps for all you guys apho emakhaya and get some life-changing career advice in our career segment. Waye ke siqhagamshelana nani kumanatha ethu omjelo being i-social sessions. TOMz. To this right here, teenagers on a mission up against SABC Mzansi for sure.
Your one-stop shop for anything science and tech right here in Mzansi.
Hello, kanye namhlanje ke besivula amehlo ethu to the world of light, figuring out uba yintoni ngale light, I mean, isebenza njani, yenza njani izinto, and even some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to light.
Siyathemba ukuthi knowledge lesilokho sininika yona ne iyasebenza ngelinye ilanga, not just in school but nase life in food.
Inshallah, kanye. Now I assume that you know that you should not just wake up and randomly know all the things that he asks you about light, right? Hi, guys.
Through the centuries, some of our great minds have put it upon themselves to research nokuthi sithole kabanzi ukuthi kahle kahle ilight yini nokuthi isebenza kanjani.
Injalo kanye kwaye ke basebenzisa olo lwazi to capture and create a light. Masike sithi sicada sibuyele sibone ba hey man sifike kanjani kanye apha. Ilanga ke has always been our primary source. Kodwa ke umlilo was our first source of light that we could control. Abantu ke have been using umlilo lona for over 1 million years. Then through the years, we found ways to make safer and more reliable umlilo lona based on sources of light, oil lamps, and candles. Igama ke that you might not be familiar with is that of Humphrey Davy, who produced the world's first electric lamp by connecting voltaic piles to charcoal electrodes in 1802. Now this was known as the electric arc lamp. This light was actually the first to light the streets of many cities. Yonke ke lento yaqala a trend of some sort with inventors, each wanting to add igama labo to the history of books of light. Different inventors gave fiddled with existing light bulb designs, changing the filament or the environment within the bulb in an attempt to create the best light. Gelishwa ke almost all these just weren't good enough. But when Sandio Just and Croatian Franjo Hanman were granted a patent for the tungsten filament lamp, which lasted longer and gave brighter light than the carbon filament, they struck the lightning gold mine. So tungsten light bulbs are those lights that was like a few years back, man. Guys, when they were big, bulgy, rounded top.
But then after realizing that, though they served their purpose, these lights were quite power hungry. There were many other lights in the market that did the very same job, if not a better job, using a fraction of the electricity used by tungsten lights.
So what's free energy saving lights for everybody? Well, about 44 million compact fluorescent lamps to be exact.
For my legacy, like I would signal those cyber tools that will give you those light bulb ding ding moment. Get it? Light bulb, man, I am so funny.
Stuck in the dark with nothing but your smartphone? Then you need to download yourself the Tiny Flashlight Plus LED app, which turns your phone into the most loyal flashlight. But that's not all the app does. Have fun with the strobe lights, mask code, police light features that can turn a boring night of load shedding into a party. But partying comes after the hard work and studying. So partying comes after the hard work and studying. So get yourself the Physics Pro Wave Theory F-Light app and have a reason to have your phone with you while studying. This useful app comes in 2 parts. Your card is packed with different formulas that will definitely come in handy. Yes, really, there's a side to it that will just jog your memory a bit. Think of it as something you would use as a last-minute revision before stepping into the exam room. And unfortunately, now my rules, according to the phone, I can app pagat.
Okay, so when Africa, you've been watching Nkubule from the start.
And what you've seen has really inspired you. You want to start playing Ngama Light. You want to discover something really great about light.
Okay, to get where you want to be.
And one way we do this is by giving you the tools. So all you future physicists, watch very carefully, tata my notes, and be great.
So, you want to be a lighting technician, literally shining the light on things for us to see? Well, a lighting technician is responsible for using isibane to execute the ideas or create the moods for the artistic director has in mind. Ukuze ukwazi ukuba a-lighting technician udinga nje a national senior certificate that meets the request for a diploma course. Now, there aren't any specific subjects of nega uzenze, but we do suggest that you take part in drama production apho esikolweni. Then, depending on where now ufuna ukungena nzulu kangakanani na, you can go to a technical university or get an internship at a theater and work your way up. Indwendwe zethu ke besinazo namhlanje apha enkqubeni were really cool and amazing.
The knowledge they had to share was very, very interesting, and their stories were nothing short of inspiring.
Injalo kanye nxa yalonto ke we thought why not man siphinde sibabuyise and allow them baphinde banike some more words of inspiration that will help you be the world's greatest.
Kodwa ke, when you are great, please ningazikhohlwa. I mean, I'd love to hear TOMz mentioned in an acceptance speech for a huge award.
For anybody wanting to get into laser cutting, I would suggest doing a graphic design course, an AutoCAD course, getting to understand the program, and then apply to a laser cutting company, get the knowledge that you need there, and then go from there and purchase a laser cutter and build up a clientele, and sky's the limit.
There are people who do lighting as a career, and it's also a very difficult thing because it also requires long hours and you need to be a very good communicator. People who do lighting in the film industry are known as gaffers. That's Gaffer. And gaffer is essentially a cinematographer's best friend because the communication we have with your gaffer helps you with your image.
Yes, bafethu sifikile kuma social sessions wethu. Lasikhuluma nawe ekhaya ku Facebook na ku Twitter sesizokuthi wena ubuthini throughout this entire time.
Qala ku Facebook esinayo usibeko Humble Heart Sandile othi I have an idea of creating an eco-friendly engine and it will not run on petrol. Wow, I would love to make this idea of mine get true. And they say usibaba wena uthini ngale nto kasibeko.
This is truly amazing. Wena Sandile nekutshela ukuthi lento le idea yakho yinhle ngempela ngoba phela i-pollution izoreduceka futhi i-ozone layer yethu ngeke isadestroyeka. This is incredibly a great idea.
We need more and more people that think like that apha ku TOMz and the world as a whole, you know. Nawe ke apha ekhaya ufuna ufana noSandile Humble Heart Sibeko ungenza njalo uqhagamshelene nathi ku Facebook and ku Twitter. Ku Facebook singu TOMz and ku Twitter singu @TOMz_SABC_1.
Till then, keep tweeting.
And just like that, we have reached that point of the show we all dread.
Where we have to part ways nalapha emakhaya.
But you do know that there's a silver lining to this grey cloud because Tina, nani apha ekhaya will be seeing each other very soon.
In the meantime, nina lapha emakhaya ke benombuzo about yonke into eniyibone namhlanje or any other TOMz related episode, then feel free ukuthi nisibuze lapha on my Facebook and Twitter pages and kwazibani bafethu singahle nje siphendule umbuzo wakho.
Simolana ke bethu nani from myself Bongisiwe and Lucia, it's goodbye. Next time on TOMz, we find out about some of the worst failures in the construction industry. Sifunda all about materials as just a second strike ukubuilda inqwelomoya. We get inside the legendary Roy Falk helicopter. Wena ke apho khaya uzuphinde ubuye bethu nani sidlaleni sonke apha ku TOMz only here on SABC1 Mzansi for sure.